Hello and welcome to week 6 of my new account update series, where I'll be spending a little each month. I hope everyone's well and enjoying the holiday period if you're celebrating. This video is going to be slightly different this week because I will be away with family when I normally record, which is on Wednesday or Thursday, which is obviously Christmas Eve and Christmas, so I'll be away. So I'm recording this a little bit ahead of time, so there hasn't been that much time that's progressed since my last update. There's been a few changes, but not too many. Instead, I'm going to take more of a look back at the first 6 weeks of the account and also a look forward to my plans for next year. So a bit more of a sort of overview this video will be. So I don't know why I just spoke like Yoda there, but there we go. First of all, I'm just gonna head over and show what I've completed so far in the first, I think, month and a half. So I like to keep a log of things I've completed just to refer back to. So the first thing that I really focused on was Grand Moff Tarkin for the raid and getting that score for the guild and personal track. So that's great and has also had uses in assault battles as well, which I'll discuss in a little bit. So really happy with that farm. That was actually technically lightspeed token, so not really a farm, but I did gather the zetas and stuff for him. I bought the finalizer and SOKR lightspeed bundle, so finished these guys to relic 7 and then Emperor Palpatine, unlocked 2 relics through the lightspeed token, then up to relic 7. That then let me unlock Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, who is relic 8 of 6 zetas, and I'm making decent progress with the ultimate, so that should be about a week away at this point. I'm not rushing it. And then also with the compensation lightspeed token, I unlocked Padawan Obi-Wan. No mods on him yet, but I do have his Zeta and Omicron ready for Conquest, which is actually starting today. So that will be good. I'll put on some mods for him. In terms of everything else, I'm also keeping SOKR in the live tab as well while I work on his ultimate. I've made good progress on the requirements for profundity and also the pilots for the Home 1 fleet, which is the thing I'm really focusing on at the moment. So I'm getting a bunch of pilots up to gear 12 to sort of pad out the stats of the ships, but also some of them are requirements for profundity, so I'll take them up to relics eventually. And then also with the help of some lightspeed tokens, I have been working on some of the relic pilots. For example, this week I was able to take Captain Drogon up to relic 7. I did that for the assault battle, but I was planning on doing it anyway for the ship and obviously as a requirement for Leia, but he's already there and technically finished and ready for the B-Wing to unlock. Cal Katarn was an Erodium lightspeed token from the Era shipment store, then Harrison Duel Anniversary lightspeed token, but took up to relic 5 because that is her requirement level. K2SO was a droid lightspeed token, and Bistan will be my next Erodium lightspeed token because he is a requirement and I want a relic character for Bistan's ship. So yeah, that is a lot of lightspeed tokens, which has really sort of padded out and accelerated the roster. But I think what that has let me do is apply quite high relics and sort of finish off characters to the requirement levels, and also give me an advantage in things like assault battles, for example, and for the fleets. So because I haven't had to work on actually getting characters to gear 13 at the moment, which is nice, I'm sort of doing that in the background, I'm able to invest a lot in relic material, which has been fantastic, and getting a bunch of characters, including, for example, Padawan Obi-Wan with just 1 relic level, but up to relic 7. Captain Rex was a lightspeed token, but took up to relic 7 to help in an assault battle, and that is his requirement level for Leia and is just like a really good character. Same with Hera. Was able to take my first GL up to Relic 8 pretty quickly. So I'm really noticing the shift towards building Tull and building relics opposed to just focusing on gearing characters, because I can just make use of the Lightspeed tokens, which is great. I'll also quickly jump over to ships, and yeah, so this is what I've been working on in the last 6 weeks. Still haven't really gotten to the point of finishing any of the really slow ships. I think the only ones I have finished in that time are Biggs and Wedge's ship, which are very easy farms from the Galactic War Store, but making really good progress. Most of them are about 5-star or nearly 5-star, and then some are getting there towards 7 stars. So I'm in a good place with ships and sort of really focusing on those rebel ships and fleets for the home one, which is my current target, and Profundity, which will be my target in a few months. So that's a quick summary of what I've been working on. I'm going to actually jump to a little graphics, so let's do that. Okay, so I've been working on a way to visualize my progress and current standing of my account, focusing on a few areas and stats that I think would be useful. So I've put together a wee program to basically visualize this and show how I'm doing against all of the assault battles, crystal income, raid income, and other stats that I think would be helpful. And one of the reasons I put this together is for my own account, but also because I think it would be a useful graphic during roster reviews, and roster reviews are something that I'd be interested in doing in terms of content for this channel. So if anyone is interested in getting a roster review, who's looking for any pointers in terms of what to farm next, or just overall advice for their account, or just wants to show off their account, I'd be more than happy to have a look at it and make a video from it if anyone's interested. So if you are, I'll put some instructions in the video description in terms of what you need to comment with and what information I would find helpful in terms of doing a roster review. So yeah, if anyone's interested in that, please let me know and I would be happy to have a look at your account. So moving on back to my own account and doing, I guess, my own roster review, I'm going to use this to have a look at my current progress and where I think I should go on from here. So I'm going to start with the assault battles. So I've visualized the 9 assault battles. I haven't included the Ahsoka battle yet, just because that is, I guess, later game, and there's a few other resource events I may or may not include in this graphic later, but for now we're going to focus on the 9 assault battles. And so far so good. I've been able to complete 4 of them, and 1 of them up to challenge tier 2, with challenge tier 3 being the max. And yeah, I think it's been a good start. It's not due to skill or any ability on my part. A lot of it is just due to the Lightspeed tokens we've been given, and also the Supreme Leader Kylo Ren Lightspeed bundle I bought helped with 1 of the assault battles. So I guess what have I done so far? So I've done Places of Power assault battle with the SWGOH requirements from that bundle, and Relic Delta basically helped do that challenge tier 1, which I don't think would have been possible before without SWGOH, but now that I have him, I should be able to do challenge tier 2 and challenge tier 3. Then next it was at Forrest Moon. So that was a similar story with Relic Delta helping a team I don't think would have been very good before. I basically used Emperor Palpatine, Tarkin and Vader with a few other low gear Empire units, and basically Relic Delta helped crush those poor Ewoks under Tarkin's AoE. It was quite a sight. And yeah, I was able to tick that one off earlier than expected. I think for the later tiers, I'll probably need Imperial Troopers, because Relic Delta is less impactful there because the gap starts to close up between the teams. And then I guess just last week I was able to do Secrets and Shadows with Phoenix up to Challenge Tier 1. I don't think I'll be able to push much beyond that until I get some form of Night Sisters team, probably Great Mothers at some point, but Challenge Tier 1's great, and that's what I'm aiming for initially, because that gives Zeta's finisher material and also Karotech, and in quite decent amounts. So if I'm able to unlock all 7 quite early, then that really adds up each month and helps with gearing characters and also applying Zetas. And then the further challenge tiers provide some relic materials like electrium conductors and signal data that will really add up and help as well. I talked about this in my relic video that I just made, and I think it is very important to get these assault battles online as early as possible and get that return on investment going pretty much from the start. So that's what my major focus at the early stage of this account has been. And then finally, military might. So I just did this on Saturday and did it with mostly the anniversary Lightspeed token Phoenix team, but without Ezra. And instead of Ezra, I put Captain Drogon, who I put up to Relic 7 in preparation for his ship as part of Home 1, and also because he's a requirement at Relic 7. So he helped provide a few more assists and extra damage, of course. It was close. CT1 was very easy. I think I did that on full auto with that team, who I didn't take up to Relic 7 at that point, because I also took Captain Rex up to Relic 7 eventually, but that was all Relic 3, I want to say, at that point. But for Challenge Tier 2 was a bit more difficult. I ended up taking Drogon and Captain Rex up to Relic 7 and got that Challenge Tier 2, and both of those are R7 requirements for Leia, so it really didn't feel like much of an issue to do that, and I can make good use of them elsewhere. So first Challenge Tier 2, pretty happy with that. The rest of them I will build into my plans going forward. I'm hoping to get to at least Challenge Tier 1 for all of them, to be honest, within the next month or so, I would say, apart from Peridia Patrol, which will come a little bit later, probably after Leia and the Executor, that sort of time. So yeah, good progress, and it's something I'm interested in tracking. In terms of the other stuff, I've pulled together some stats just to give an idea of the account, and I think one of the most important ones is account age. I actually think that's more important than GP usually, because especially now with Lightspeed bundles and all these tokens, accounts can grow really quickly and sort of bloat their GP. I would include my account in that, although it's 2.4 million. I would say it's not the most compact 2.4 million. It's still quite a young account. It doesn't have a lot of mods. It doesn't have a lot of Zetas. I guess maybe it does now because of the anniversary Lightspeed tokens. But my point is, even bigger accounts nowadays can be not progress that much, even though they have a lot of GP. So I always look at account age really more than GP. And then also my guild stats, how we're doing in the raid, because that ultimately factors into my weekly rewards as well, and how we're doing in territory battles, which marginally impacts my crystals and also my personal raid score on top of that. And then the competitive game modes. So GAC barely started. I think I'm approaching Carbonite 3, but not quite there yet. So very minimal rewards from that so far. Fleet rank, I'm starting to cement myself in the 10 to 20 range, which isn't ideal, but hopefully when I get the Home 1, that will improve a little bit again. And then Coliseum rank doesn't quite factor into these rewards yet, at all, but I might also include something to do with era currency and tokens, and I'm still thinking about that in terms of how I can display that, because I think that's one of the most important things now in terms of quick progression, is how high can you get in the Coliseum. So, and then in terms of the rewards. So I've put together a bit of a calculation for my daily crystal income. So this is based on a lot of things. It's based on the dailies that you can get. It's also based on the crystal rewards we get each month from the territory battles, and it's based on GAC performance, and most importantly it's based on fleet rank, which I'm only getting 100 a day from that. And there's a few other sources I've included, such as certain assault battles reward some crystals at higher tiers. Obviously I haven't unlocked those yet, so they're not currently factoring into the calculation, and this is to show how much crystals I could afford to spend on refreshes. And also this shows I'm currently spending way over my daily crystal income, so I'm slowly eating into my crystal reserves, which is fine because I'm sort of putting it back into fleets with the aim of improving that again. But it's something to keep in mind that I'm currently spending, I think at the moment, about 550 to 650 crystals a day on refreshes, which is quite a bit over what I could technically afford. So I'm looking to increase the fleet rank to sort of stabilize the crystals again. Then in terms of raid rewards, so these are a combination of what I get from the guild reward, the sort of the overall box everyone gets, and then also my own personal rewards. And I'm displaying weekly rewards. So if your guild is really good and doing the raid every 6 days, then this figure would adjust accordingly. My guild is doing it every 7 days, which is good, but obviously if it was every 6 days, this weekly figure would be about sort of 15 to 20% higher, just because we're hitting the raid more often. But so far 10,000 Mark II, which is good. It helps me get quite a lot of relic materials, but also is still a little bit of a strain in terms of buying Gear 13 gear, because after I buy relic materials there's not a lot left over usually to buy Gear 13, but that's fine. I'm in a very focusing on relics phase, and then eventually I'll move into applying more Gear 13 characters. And for the Mark III currency, that is, in the grand scheme of things, quite a small amount, so I'm just letting that build up. Over time I'll spend a bit if I start to reach the cap, but I'm basically just going to build up a bit of a reserve so that when I need relics 8 and relic 9, I'll have some in reserve just to spend it on girder key pads and impulse detectors, and maybe aero magnifiers if I need to or don't have that much chirotech. So yeah, this is the current state of my account. And yeah, if you're interested in having a similar look at your account, let me know. I should mention that it won't just be this graphic. I'll of course be diving deep into the account in game as well. So yeah, if a roster review is something you're interested in, yeah, please let me know. So now I'm going to move on to more of the future plans for my account. I usually break it down into about 6 months. So this is my own, I guess, personal farming plan for the next 6 months. So I'm actually going to start in the middle with February. So I've broken it down into each of the 6 months, but I'm going to start here and I'll explain in a bit. So I've been thinking about this, and I think when I'll be able to unlock Profundity will be at the end of February when the event comes around. So the Profundity event comes around at the end of each month. So that should be February the 28th. I don't think it's a leap year. I can't quite remember, but yeah, so it should be February the 28th. And these are essentially the characters I need to finish. I haven't included Bistan just because I'm just about to relic him. So that is essentially the thing I'm working towards, and then I'm going to work back from that because that's still sort of 2 and a bit months away, and that should be more than enough time to finish the ships but also work on these characters. So I should be able to do quite a bit in the meantime, and I think I'm going to focus on shoring up those assault battles before I unlock Profundity, because I think it's going to be the ship farms that means I can't unlock it in January, just because it's going to take just a little bit too long to unlock things like Bistan's U-Wing or the Outrider. So that's why I think I'm pretty certain it will be end of February for the Profundity. So working back from that and then going on to my immediate plans, I've sort of gone over this already, but with the Jedi Lightspeed tokens that are coming out on December 30th, I believe, we'll get Keller and Beck and also a random Jedi one, which I'll spend on Master Qui-Gon. So with that, I should be able to cover these 2 assault battles, this one at R7 and this one at CT1. And I'm also really close to getting the Home 1 online. I should have B-Wing unlocked in a couple of days. So yeah, this is the immediate plans and where I'm diverting relics, because I'm going to have to save relics to take Keller and Beck and Master Qui-Gon from Relic 0 to Relic 7. Then in January, I'm going to continue on the assault battle theme, and I'm going to focus on 2 teams. So first of all, the Inquisitors, which we'll get from the Lightspeed tokens. So my plan is just to take them up only really as high as I need to do CT1 initially. If that means I have to unlock Grand Inquisitor, I will do that. But I think given Relic Delta and that we're getting them with all their Zetas, I should hopefully be able to do CT1, maybe with them all Relic 3, maybe a few Relic 5s on them. So I've just put Relic 5, which is their requirements for unlocking Grand Inquisitor. So I'm going to try get that done as early as possible, which I definitely wouldn't have done if not for the Lightspeed tokens. So they are a really great addition for that. And then also I'm planning on investing a little bit more in the Imperial Troopers to push up higher in the Rebel Roundup and the Forrest Moon assault battles. I already have Dark Trooper relics thanks to a Droid Lightspeed token. Scout Trooper I'll be taking up to Relic 7 for Leia. Admiral Piet I'll be taking up to Relic 8 for Executor. I'm undecided about General Veers. I don't know quite how the assault battles are working in terms of the opponent's power and Relic Delta, but Gear 12 might not be enough now with Relic Delta, so I might have to bump him up to Relic 3 he essentially just needs to survive the first couple of rounds, which might not be possible at Gear 12. I'll try it, but I might have to have some relics in reserve in order to do that and then cover off these remaining assault battles. And then, of course, next month, the plan is Profundity. But I think the thing about these, 2 and a bit months is a lot of these characters will be through Lightspeed tokens. So I should also have a little bit of wiggle room to work on other things. And I think the thing I'll be working on in the background during these 3 months or 2 and a bit months is Leia. So this will be my, ambitious target for March. That might not be possible, mainly because of this character here. So Rebel Officer Leia Organa is a bit of a slower farm because she needs Guild Event Currency 2 or Raid Mark II, which I really don't want to spend. So there is other ways to get her, for example, through light side Hoth territory battles, which relies on the guild scoring quite highly and getting up to 50 shards a month from there. And then also there's Galactic Bounty, so it might be pushing it to have her unlocked by the end of March. I'll have to see. The one thing is that there is a sort of Hoth Lightspeed bundle that includes her, and then perhaps Wampa and Captain Han Solo. Yes, so there's this Battle of Hoth Lightspeed bundle where you get Rebel Officer Leia Organa, Wampa and Han. These 2 here are requirements for Leia, Wampa requirement for Jedi Knight Luke, and then also because of that a requirement for Jabba. Imperial probe droid is pretty worthless. For the most part I'm going to avoid buying lightspeed bundles, but this might be the type of lightspeed bundle I buy on characters that slow me down from getting unlocks and GLs because they are slow and difficult farms, like through GET and raid currency. So if this pops up, I may buy it depending on when it pops up, but in the meantime I'll just be saving Guild Event 2 currency and praying that I get a lot of shards through other means. So yeah, that is Leia. Oh, and I should also add, I've jumped to my very rough graphic on when the anniversary lightspeed tokens come out, and this is where we are at the moment. The reason I put end of March for Leia is because March 24th we'll be getting a bounty hunter general lightspeed token, which I would use on Bausch, who is a requirement. So that is why March is the ambitious target. It may be that she gets pushed back a month, perhaps because of a Rolo, but we will just have to wait and see. So, and then in the next month, this is going to be a bit of a side farm or a side quest. So I would really like to work on Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, just because I enjoy the team and character, but also because he is a very valuable raid character, and together with Sarah Junda, R7 can do the Zepho mission, which is a great way to get more Guild Event 2 currency and also a lot more Kyrotech, which I think would be very valuable, especially now that you can convert it into aeromagnifiers and droid brains. So I think be a very good thing to do on the side. And the reason I think I can farm it on the side is because Sarah Junda is an unaligned force user, and we're getting an unaligned force user lightspeed token at the end of the episode tracks this month. I'll use one of them on Sarah Junda to take straight to relics. Then one of the great things about era currency and the carbonite lightspeed tokens is that you can just take characters straight up to gear 12. And the great thing about Jedi Knight Cal is all his requirements are just gear 12. So I will have to farm them in the background, which should be fine, because I think Carbonite Lightspeed token only gets them to 3-star, which is why I put him slightly later down the line, just because I'm just going to slow farm these characters, and then in sort of 3 to 4 months I should have them at 7 stars, and also with the Lightspeed tokens up to gear 12. I'm not normally for this account going to buy Carbonite Lightspeed tokens, but I think this is a very unique and niche use of Carbonite Lightspeed tokens because they're only required, and I don't at the moment really have any teams or uses for them, so they're very much going to be just unlocked for the requirements and getting Jedi Knight Cal. And then I've also put Jedi Knight Rev in here, and the reason for that is I think I'm starting to work on quite a few decent Jedi, and we're getting them through the anniversary Lightspeed token. And Keller and Beck is a good Galactic Republic Jedi leader, but I think because I'm getting Cal Kestis, I think it would make sense to have Revan unlocked because he is a very good all-round Jedi Knight leader, and when I eventually unlock JML, he fits nicely into that team as well. So I think he'd be a good, just sort of character to pick up to be sort of home for some of the Jedi characters. And also I will again just have to slow farm his unlock requirements, but you don't need them at that high investment levels to get, so will be another nice background farm. The other option of course is Jedi Knight Luke, but I might be a little bit more off him depending on things like if I get Wampa or something, maybe I might replace Jedi Knight Revan with Jedi Knight Luke in this guide, but at the moment that's maybe a bit too much of an investment, but we'll have to wait and see. And then finally in May, this is another one of these hard deadlines, is Executor, and this will only be 3 months after Profundity, but I'm absolutely fine with that because I think with Galactic Legends ships it's important to get them unlocked as soon as you can, and you can still use them in GAC, but it's good just to have them unlocked because you only get 10 shards a time from their event. So the earlier I can unlock them, the earlier I can start to build them up. And Executor, I already have a lot of the requirements from the Finalizer Lightspeed bundle, and also it will take a while to farm Razor Crest. I think I'm only at about 60 shards of Razor Crest, so going at the same pace, it would probably take me till about April, May anyway to unlock Razor Crest and unlock Executor. And finally, you can see that Beskar Armor Mandalorian, who you need to pilot, the Razor Crest isn't unlocked until April anyway, so, and then the next Executor event after that won't be until May. And then also Bo-Katan Mandalore, this we're essentially getting given through the Lightspeed tokens again. Beskar Armor Mandalorian is a requirement, as is Keller and Beck. We're also getting a Mandalorian Lightspeed token in April, and then I will just have to farm or spend another random Lightspeed token on Grogu as well, so will be a very easy farm. It's just putting it in May because we won't actually get the Lightspeed tokens until late April, so that will be another really good all-round team and also a good guild team. So I've actually put one more thing in here, but he's not constrained by a box, and that is Starkiller. So the thing about Starkiller is that in about a month or even a few weeks, I will already have 3 out of 4 of his requirements. So I've already got Kyle Katarn, who I want for his ship for the Home One fleet. I'm close to getting, I will use an Erodium Lightspeed token on him because I need him for the Profundity. Mara Jade, I'm going to use the other unaligned Force User Lightspeed token from the episode track because I bought the pass this month. So I will use the other one on Mara Jade. So that will be 3 out of 4 in a matter of weeks. The only one left will be Darth Talon. Because Starkiller is a great character, a great team, but he's very GAC focused, and most of my focus early on is going to be on like guild and resource events to build up that income. For that reason, Starkiller isn't a huge priority, but if we get a Sith Lightspeed token, maybe in the episode pass or just randomly, they seem to be throwing those out like candy at the moment, I will probably use that on Darth Talon, which would put me essentially Starkiller's requirement. And by that point, I may as well unlock him because he is a lot of fun and a very good team. And I'll already have Emperor Palpatine and Mara Jade, and then can just throw in a random Jedi, and probably Sarah Junda will be one of my only light side unaligned Force users. So that's why I've got him as a bit of a wild card, because essentially if I can get Darth Talon at any point really easily, then I think it'd be a no-brainer to go for Starkiller. So he could appear at any point, I reckon, and yeah, would be a lot of fun. Right, so that's my future plans. I'm just going to hop back in game to go through a few other minor updates. Awesome, so yeah, nothing's really changed from last week, but I'm still focusing on these characters for Radis. And the reason I wanted to bring those up is because we are getting a sort of Christmas calendar coming out. I'm just going to hop over to an image of that. Right, so I've hopped into the data mines on the SWGOH events Discord server, where they have shown a Christmas sort of calendar that we'll be getting, I think, on the 25th on Christmas Day. So by the time this video is out, that might already be in game. So it's pretty amazing, to be honest. Half of Relic 10 and like enough relic material to get to like R8, for example. Yeah, you could get to R8 with these pieces here, some girder keypads, or sort of 15 girder keypads, 15 droid brains, bit of signal data, really good. But the really cool thing, and I think will probably come out on New Year's Day if the timing works out, is what looks like chromium Lightspeed token, which should be enough to take a character to, I want to say, Relic 3. And this symbol here generally means it'll be enough to take any legacy character up. I think that will be a very nice addition to the farming plan. Yeah, so I think at the moment it would be a good idea to use that on Admiral Radis, and that is because it will only take the character up to 5-star, I believe, and that would mean I would have to finish farming his shards, but that should be fine because he's 12 energy normal mode farm, so I'd rather use like the 6-star tokens on Dash Rendar or Mon Mothma, who's a little bit more expensive. So yeah, that's coming to the game. And actually, let me just jump on over to the scavenger. Yeah, so I'm in a good place from the episode track, but also from like the anniversary like gifts we got a fair amount of relic materials. I already spent a relicate on SWGOH, but I already have enough, more than enough, nearly double the Relic 9 material for Adrad. To take him to R9 and Cassian to R8, I would need 60 of these, and yeah, that gift should take me to 40. And together with the episode track, I might not even have to farm them directly, and the ones I don't, I can probably just use the raid currency I've sort of slowly built up and spend it on them without having to spend any Chirotech or farm gear, that sort of thing. So yeah, looking good in terms of relics. Okay, so another thing to mention is double and triple drops. So by the time this video comes out, I think double drops should have already started, and that's why I'm hoarding mod energy and cantina energy. The reason I'm not hoarding the other two is firstly because I'm still farming Galactic Legend tickets for SWGOH, and those aren't doubled, so I still want to be farming those, and so it makes sense to continue with this. And then also I'm using both of these energies for character farms, and typically when you're farming mostly characters, it doesn't always make the most sense to hoard, because yes, the drop rates are more for double and triple drops, but you have to refresh them a bunch of times to take advantage of that, which costs a lot of extra crystals. So for double drops, I won't hoard these energies. I might hoard them for a couple of days for triple drops, just because the drop rate's so insane. So, you know, one time it happened before, the strategy for double drops into triple drops, because it'll be 2 days double drops and then 1 day triple drop, is to hoard for the 3 to 4 days before double drops, spend it all on the first day of double drops, but from then let your energy build up throughout the first day of double drops and don't spend it. Then at the very end, buy the refreshes and sort of hoard overnight and into the next day. And then the second day, it'll be a bit painful, but don't spend on double drops. Again, buy the refreshes and wait until the next day, which will then be triple drops, and at that point you should have rebuilt a bit of a stockpile of energy, and then you can spend it on triple drops or even more value. But essentially you want to take advantage of the time you have before double drops to hoard for that, spend it, and then do a sort of a mini hoard for triple drops. I think the consensus is that's the best strategy. And also closer to the time with things like the web store energy and the, like early on in the, what's it called, the Kessel Run reward thing, you get like a 200 cantina, 200 normal energy. That is a good idea if you can to save those for triple drops. Obviously the 100 energy things only stay in the web store for about 3 days, so yeah, just bear that in mind and try to keep as much of that for triple drops as possible, which should be the 27th. So that's my little summary of that. Won't be too useful because it should have already started by the time this video goes out. Oh, one thing I did want to quickly mention for the first time is Datacrons. So there was that whole mess up last week that impacted loads of players who had lots of like Relic 9 Datacrons, including my bigger account, and the make good that CG did ended up being complete overkill, and they gave us a bunch of reroll mats. But also, even if we didn't have any Datacrons, which I didn't, they gave us enough material to take one Datacron up to level 9, and then also just an insane number of reroll mats. So I've only spent 1,000 of the 20,000, but I took the opportunity to roll an attacker cron for SLKR. I also took the Darth Vader level 9 because I have Darth Vader, so there could be some scenarios where I use this cron for him instead because it's quite a good level 9, and then just rolled a bunch of armor penetration. So I've got a bit of an obnoxious cron for like Squad Arena and GAC, so that should be a bit of fun. And Conquest is literally just about to start for, it will be medium Conquest for me, so I think I can farm some materials from that maybe. So it might be nice to have another 1 or 2 Datacrons as well. I really don't have that many teams I can use it, but since we have so many reroll mats, I think it'd be quite fun to unlock a couple of Datacrons and roll up insane stats and use them in Carbonite GAC. I think that could be a good bit of fun. Yeah, so that's been great. Just real quick, in terms of Coliseum, it's actually just finalizing. So I've been just outside the top 30. I think I dipped into the, oh my goodness. I think I dipped into the top 30 one extra time after the last update. So yeah, happy being on the border. I won't do any more battles today. What I will, but just not on the video. But good progress getting 300 a day. And if we go over to the error shipment, it hasn't refreshed yet. I think it will do that tomorrow, but I've already got enough to buy another Erodium Lightspeed token, and I think that will be on Bistan. So as soon as that refreshes, I'll buy this attacker one, which Bistan is. So yeah, good progress. And then I don't think I've done a GAC battle yet, just because they're not that interesting, but as it's Christmas, I'll do it. I think I saw that my opponent attacked and got 10 banners. Let's see, oh yeah, so I imagine they're done. Let's have a look down here. Yeah, so I don't think they're going to get through. So I did see that they were 3.4 million, so that's about 1 million more than me, but they've got an interesting farming strategy in that they seem to like a lot of Gear 12 characters, which, yeah, especially with Relic Delta, and to be honest before as well, isn't really the way to go. It's very, very spread out. They're investing lots of random gear in different things, so it's probably looks like they're going for Executor or something maybe. But at first I was like, oh, it's a much bigger account. But yeah, unfortunately for them, I think Relic Delta is very much on my side. So let's just hop in and do a couple of battles. Interesting team. So I think what I normally do, I'm taking SLKR on offense just for the fun of it. I could, especially with the Datacron, I could probably leave him on defense next time. But I'm just gonna jump in with solo SLKR, and yeah, let's just do this. I was hoping that would kill them, but that's fine. Full banner win, 69. Lovely. So this should be a pretty quick. Oh, Darth Vader, have I? Gear 12. I'm a little bit worried about all of the Zetas and stuff. Let's just go in with my own Empire team, I think. Lovely. So let's do this. I don't have his Zeta on, but this should, yeah, I mean, they should probably just kill them. Yep. Good old Relic Delta. There we go. This is a high octane match. And then this team here, go for it. Phoenix, I think, should do the trick. They do have a lot of Zetas, which always makes me a bit worried, but yeah, I might not even do fleet. I think I might just call it a victory. after this, and maybe I'll do fleet in my own time. Lovely stuff. Yeah, so I think that should put me 3 and 3 this time round, and I think maybe, is this fleet beatable? Yeah, I'll do that later. And they're not going to clear, so probably not. So in terms of GAC progress, I don't think I'll quite make it into Carbonite 3, I don't think, but pretty much there. We'll hopefully get there next time. Finally, just because Conquest has literally just started while I've been recording this, I'm actually going to jump in because I want to check something. So this will be my first, I kept calling it medium. Of course it wasn't called medium. Normal mode, normal Conquest. So definitely will be doing this one, and I will commit. So you need to do this in order to unlock hard when you're 4 million. And I wanted to check a couple things. One of them is, are there any Datacron nodes? There are. Okay, that's good. And the second thing I wanted to check is the Conquest Pass. So on hard mode, this is definitely worthwhile for a sort of medium spender because you get a lot of character shards, but I don't know if it's worth it on normal mode. But we just have to check what do we get on this track here. So we'll get some Maz shards. I'm not too worried about those. A little bit of gear. Queen Amidala, now that's interesting. So 5, 10, 20, no, 15, 20, I think just 20. Okay, 20, there's no stranger shards until the very end, or until the boxes. And it's not blowing me away in terms of value, to be honest. I mean, 20 Amidala shards would be nice, but I could just say that's one refresh, and like the gear and stuff isn't really worth it. Yeah, I don't think I'll buy the Conquest Pass for normal. It doesn't really seem to have much value. Yeah, so just wanted to check that because I'm now going to jump over to the current stats. Right, so yeah, I wanted to confirm that first because so far this week, 0 spending. Very proud of myself. I think the only thing I spent was crystals on a refresh in Coliseum because I realized I was being an idiot and there was a better way of doing a battle, so I refreshed in order to make a little bit of progress, but that was just the crystals I had built up, I think 250, but no actual money, so that keeps the total at 120. I won't be buying the Conquest Pass until I get to hard mode, just because that doesn't really look like good value to me. So yeah, 120 still over budget, but by the end of this month, I might buy something when the Christmas deals come, but at the end of this month, we're getting back towards the £50 a month target. Coliseum, not much change, just sort of up and down. Got the 300 one day. This is the only thing I've, in quotation marks, spent, but it was just crystals. And yeah, still, that's about 2 weeks ago that I spent last on Coliseum and still getting the top 30. So yeah, all good to know. Fleet crystals, yeah, so I'm starting to drop, but I'm still spending like I'm in the top 5. So my crystal stash is slowly starting to diminish. So I'm going to hope my home one plan pays off. But if not, I guess this is a spending account. I can look at ways of supplementing that while I work on things like profundity to get back to the top. So yeah, I think that about does it for this video. Thought I wouldn't have much to talk about, but ended up, I think, maybe making one of my longest so far, going through all of my plans. But I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, of course, I'd be very appreciative if you left a like or comment or subscribed. And if you are interested in roster review, read the video description. And yeah, thank you very much, and I hope you have a good festive period if you are celebrating, and see you next time.